Greetings, Vault Hunters all across the 6 galaxies. Welcome to the Bordercast. We are live at our almost usual time today, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I'm Mitsu.
And I'm Tessica, bringing to you all things Borderlands every week. Welcome, you guys, and welcome to our new awesome teammates. We've got TweetyExpert, Depriesticles, PsychoticWolf. I almost screwed up Depriesticles' name. There's a question I'm like dying to ask him, but first we just want to say hi. Yes. So, hi.
Hello.
The team seems to be expanding faster than any of us can keep up with right now, and it's so good that we're actually going to have all three of you here. Depriesticles, see, I chat saying I was going to get it wrong. You were wrong, chat. And of course, that's lost on all of the audio-only people. I apologize for that one. But Wolf, Tweety, it's good to have both of you back as well.
Heck.
Yeah, same. Good to be back.
You guys are all awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for being on our amazing, crazy team of crazy and awesome things. We love having you guys. So we have all the things to talk about. Loot Monster Mayhem is still going on. That's until Thursday. And the next event, I'm so sorry. I totally had this open and I totally don't anymore. Does anyone remember?
Isn't it not?
Yeah. So Guardian Takedown is out right now, as we all know. The event going on right now is, of course, Monster Mayhem. Thursday at noon Eastern time will begin Show Me the Iridium, which is something I'm actually looking forward to talking with everybody here on the panel, because now we have much better Iridium sync. So I can't wait to talk with all of you about what you plan on using your Iridium on. But before we get into all that, as always, I wanted to take a second to thank all of our listeners on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and those watching live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Steam, or later on the VOD on YouTube. And if you are enjoying the program, we would love for you to give us a big ol' like, follow, or favorite, because if I don't say this, the executive producer of the show will glare at me very harshly. And honestly, I'm kind of a sensitive boy. So yes, we have a ton out right now. The Legendary Collection, which I will be playing as I return stateside as of tomorrow. Unfortunately, I will of course miss my wife, but it is time to get back to reality, as they like to say, and get back to work, because there is a lot to come. But we'll talk about at the end of the show, maybe just a little bit, tiny bit. So stay tuned. Yeah. So let's get right into it. I did not have a chance to play Borderlands this week. We had a big thing. That's right. I can't talk about it until the end. But Tess and I did a thing last week. Can't say what it is yet. But that preempted one of my shows. And the other one, unfortunately, I had a horrible allergy attack. So I literally had no chance to play Borderlands this week. So I'm relying on you guys. Tess, open the floor. What did you do this week in Borderlands?
Well, so one of my very good friends and mods hasn't finished a bunch of the DLC yet, so we've been kind of like working through them on stream a little bit with her. And I was playing the Ultimate Vault Hunter build that Triple G, our other teammate, is going to be showcasing on Ultimate Vault Hunter this Thursday. So I've been playing that and really enjoying it. It's super fun. I blame Wolf over there and Triple G together for basically turning me into a Moze main. Like, I was all about Amara. I still love Amara. But I love my girl Moze, man. She's amazing. PsychoticWolf's build that he showcased on the last Ultimate Vault Hunter episode for her was incredible and so much fun to play. And I love it. So if you guys want to check that out, it's available on VODs. It's available on all the podcast services. The link to the build is there. Definitely make sure you try it, because that build is also super fun and crazy. The slam cannon. It's crazy. It's a total blast, literally. And this Thursday, make sure you check out Triple G's episode. But yeah, so I've been playing through the story, just kind of enjoying. Honestly, Borderlands is just like constant eye candy to me. So I'm just like, it's like I'm sitting here eating the most delicious candy for my brain, and it's wonderful and I love it. So I've just been doing that. Also, okay. my other mod sent me a thing.
Is that a Duck Maya?
Yes.
Oh my.
I love it so much.
So good.
It's
For
so
those
cute.
For those who are listening via the audio services that we put the show on, Tess from one of her mods was given a duck, like a rubber duck, that looks like Maya with the long hair, teal at the top, fades into the dark blue, and has her robe on, but it's a rubber duck. Is this becoming like a thing? Are there like rubber ducks becoming the next pop figures? Is that what I'm trying to gather?
I mean, I think there's a few. So there's actually a few characters. There's a Lilith. I don't remember all of the other ones, but there's a bunch of these. I really love Maya, and I also I had a mod. One of my very first mods and my very first subscriber on Twitch from 6 years ago was like obsessed with ducks, and he was from Paris, and it was very sweet. He would post like cute pictures of ducks, and one time he sent me this giant box full of like rubber duckies that were all different things. Like one was a golf ball, another one was like a bee. Or a ladybug or a cow or an alien rubber ducky, and they're all different colors and they're cute. Like those. Yeah, exactly.
I have a whole, I collect rubber ducks. Actually, I have a whole bunch of them. These are just the most accessible ones. I have that same Maya as well as the rest of the Borderlands ones too.
They're so cool, right? I love them.
Triple G has Handsome Jack and he has Mordecai.
Nice.
What the heck?
Nice. Cute. They're so cute. I think you can get these on, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's gearboxloot.com. I believe that's the website. But yeah, it's super, 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 super cute. And I love them so much. And they're amazing. And this one is very special to me because I love Maya. She's my favorite character ever. And I need to do the cosplay again sometime soon. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. What about you guys?
Depriesticles, you held up the ducks and you're the newest member of the team. So you are the one who has the floor now. What did you do in Borderlands this past week?
Well, I was actually on vacation for the past 4 days over in Eastern Washington, so I didn't really play much Borderlands myself either. But beforehand, I was I'm a challenge runner mostly. I feel like I'm not really a build or science guy. I don't really dive into the depths of the Borderlands builds and everything like that very often. But I can tell you, as a challenge runner, I started a white rarity only one life Moes this past week, and the loot tinks that were everywhere, dropping all those legendaries that I didn't pick up for my challenge run. It was a little
That's painful.
What exactly are the parameters of this challenge run?
Every piece of gear that I use is white rarity only. And then,
really?
Yeah, everything that I'm doing is white rarity only.
And it's one life.
One life, yeah. I mostly do one lives, and I've completed one lives in the past, and I've done a variety of other different challenge runs, also some allegiance runs and other things here and there. But I've started, now that I've gotten a couple of those under my belt, I started double stacking my challenges, and my last one was like a Jacob's only one life flak, and I got through TVHM on that one, but after that died in the first DLC, just shy of level 60, big rip. I posed the question to the rest of my chat, and they came up with the challenge for me. They said, we're going to pick 2 challenges. And what they decided on was a white rarity only one life Moes. Wow. And it's been crazy so far. It's tough to get through.
I have one follow-up question. Guardian ranks, yea or nay?
On my white rarity only one, I'm using them. But most of my challenges, I'm not.
Nice. Man, that's crazy.
I need a little bit of an edge for this one.
Yeah.
That makes me really, I've done one life runs in other games before, but I've never done one in Borderlands, and I actually really want to do one. So maybe I'll take some inspiration from you and I probably won't do 2 things at the same time, though.
I wouldn't recommend it, not to start.
Challenge run at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe eventually. So what about you, Tweety? You just moved, right?
I moved back to college, so I had I only had Thursday off, but I played over the weekend, and I've started a sniper-only flak, because I haven't played flak. I can kind of see the last time I played a character by the level they are, because I don't really go back and forth between a lot of them. Zane's kind of my person. So flak was at, I think 53 was the last time I played them. So it's been a while, and it's been a journey. It's actually, I played like right at the beginning, like level 13 by the Electricity. I picked up a Krakatoa and was able to kill Gravelord with it. So I was going to see how long I could take that Krakatoa to the end, and I could go up 20 levels. I think by the end, I've just been doing a bunch of snipers, like the Complex Route from the new DLC, and a whole lot of other ones. And that's been a fun time trying to mess with flak now.
Very cool.
Krakatoa just hurts. Krakatoa is it like if you get that on your first run. I was fortunate enough to get it a few weeks ago when I started a flak back then. It just one shot, and things just explode and become volcanoes. It's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, that is a very, very nice gun. I still pick them up, even though like I tend towards using SMGs or pistols if I can. And my current build basically is just like flipper all the time, flipper forever. I love it so much. Oh my God. But I like the Krakatoa. And when I was playing previously and I needed a sniper for something, that was definitely the go-to. So very cool. Very cool. What about the lovely PsychoticWolf? What have you been up to?
Well, during the week of the Red Chest event for the community, I was running Red Chest the whole entire time. And one of the big one was I was doing Dakota farming. So people could get Dakotas from the Red Chests and, keep that in their mail so they can benefit from that. I can see people who are running some runs right now that are using the Dakotas that I was so nice to, gift to them, if you want to call it that. And then when the Loot Tank event came in, We'll backtrack this. So when I was on the first Bordercast and then, of course, Ultimate Vault Hunter, a friend of mine, another streamer, BZK25, I saw him in chat. He said he had a bone to pick with me. I said, what's your bone? He's like, you have to run a one life. So I started my one life. I'm 2 days in. I'm doing a one life Mo's, no Guardian ranks, and no assistance. However, I am benefiting from the loot tinks. I'm loving that. Nice. And the end goal is, if I go with the one life, is to go all the way to M10 and complete Malawan.
Wow.
Boy, oh boy.
Oof. That's
good luck with
that.
That's where I call my one lives also, is I want to get all the way to M10 and take out both takedowns.
As kind of a joke, I started a one life run the other day with my Mayhem 10 fully kitted out Mo's that's fully built up, and I like reset all my missions and was like, I'm just gonna do one life on Mayhem 0 with a Mayhem. so literally everything, just like I looked at things and they died. It was great. But yeah, I kind of want to do an actual one life sometime in the near future. You guys are a good inspiration.
I'm glad one life is I'm glad one life is something that we're talking about again. I feel like in Borderlands 2's life cycle, one life isn't something that really developed until about a year and a half in, after all the DLCs had released and we were kind of like hungry for things to do. So in this case, being able to see people actually go out there and do these self challenges in the game, it makes me really happy. And I don't think it's because we're starved for content at this point. I think people just want to challenge themselves with what we currently have in the game, builds that we can use. Every character feels like it's in a good spot, and most weapons, not all, but most weapons feel like they're serviceable, if not very strong, if not very overpowered.
Nothing is OP. Everything is perfect. Do not touch anything, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
It does seem like the game is in a really good spot. People are just having lots of fun left and right. I actually know a bunch of people in my community that kind of like took a break for a while, just to play other things and whatever, and kind of wait for like the changes to settle down, and they've jumped back in and they're just having a blast, and it's really nice to see that. I like seeing people happy, so when people are happy with my favorite game, it's just like nice.
Happy.
I feel like with the new content wave, it brought a lot of people that took a break from the beginning of the releases. Brought a lot of people back in. It's been fun, like teaching them what's new and how different the world is now compared to at release.
Things have changed in meaningful but comprehensive ways.
Oh yeah.
The DLCs layered on a whole bunch. A lot of the free updates have layered on a bunch, and then you also have to teach people about the takedowns, because that's added a layer that most people don't. If you're jumping back in, you probably don't even really know that it's there, because the takedowns, you find them in sanctuary, and when you're looking for them, you might go to a DLC and you'll be like, oh wait, this is the new DLC, I'll just go do that instead. And you just forget about where the takedown is, because everything is centralized to the hub, and you can get so easily distracted by all the side quests that finally, once you've narrowed everything down, then you can go and do the takedowns. But if you don't know what it is specifically, you're probably going to be like, this sounds scary. But even that's our job to kind of hold their hands and be like, it's not that scary. We promise you'll be good at this.
Well, even recently, I'm getting a lot of new people coming in and people that are on the fence of actually purchasing the game. And they're like, how's the game? You know, how long have you been playing? I'm like, I've been playing since the game's released and I'm still here. So if you're on the fence, just buy it.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It really is. And like I said before, the eye candy and the incredible gunplay and movement in the game and just fun characters. You can't play this game and not have a good time. It's like not possible. So
speaking of gameplay and movement, has anyone tried to go back and play Borderlands 2 recently and not being able to mantle and slide?
He's a little tough. He's a little tough. I'm still trying to figure out when I'm going to do this, but I really want to do a VR playthrough of Borderlands 2 because it is available on Steam and on PS4, I believe, VR. And I've had it. Like I've had it sitting. I've had it installed, and I just I need to reset up my VR stuff and figure out a camera setup for that. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I think in VR it won't matter that it feels different. It's VR. Everything's going to feel different. So we'll see.
I think I've gone back a few times, and I guess maybe it's my programming because I played Borderlands 2 from release right up until they had to pry it out of my cold dead hands to get me to play 3. It feels like Borderlands 2. I know what I'm getting into. I know that there really aren't too many spaces where mantling and the extra movement options, sliding and all that stuff is great. But at the same time, the game wasn't designed with either of them in mind. And so I don't walk up to a place thinking I'm going to mantle on top of this because I know going into the game, it's kind of like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about any environments that would require me to have to do that. If I have to, that's me breaking the game because I want to throw a grenade at my feet and launch myself over it. That's a completely different situation. But that's just me. I know everybody's different. And I could understand going back to a previous iteration of a game and being like, oh, this kind of sucks. But
it
not in the bad way.
Doesn't suck.
No,
it's just
not in a bad way at all. It's just I'm used to it at this point, and then going back is like, oh, that's definitely not a thing in this game.
Yeah, not the game, just the fact that you don't have that one movement option that you were
that you're used to having in Borderlands 3 now. Yeah,
the gunplay, honestly, in Borderlands 2 and 3, in my opinion, was pretty revolutionary for its time. You know. I have played a lot of other shooters, a lot of other shooters in the last 6 years. When I played Borderlands 2, it was my first shooter, and I kind of really didn't know what I was doing. My first modern at the time shooter, and I kind of learned on it. And I feel like the gunplay was so unique. Like there were so many different guns, and they all felt different and felt unique, and like some were really really immediate and some were not. Some had like some significant bullet travel and things like that. It was very different from a lot of other games. A lot of games don't really have that bullet travel and bullet like drop off and things like that. So it's just a different kind of gunplay altogether. And it was very satisfying once you kind of learned it. At least for me, it was. And it was awesome. And Borderlands 3, again, I think has moved forward sort of like a thing about shooters when it came out that it doesn't exist. And at least I haven't tried a shooter recently in the last 2 years that feels anything like Borderlands. It's like a step beyond the other shooters that I love because the guns, again, they feel really, really, really unique. The bullets do travel differently, but everything feels very precise and very well tuned and very fast. And it's amazing. Like the gunplay in Borderlands 3 is just, it's gunplay candy. I don't know how to explain that better, but it feels really good. And it is a little hard to go back, but I think that's just because it's so good.
It's wonderful. We're very lucky to have the game that we have as a result. And that game is constantly being changed, tweaked, and updated. One might even say that it gets every now and again hot fixed, which is why we have a little segment that I like to call Hot Fixes Applied. What? You didn't think I'd nail that segue? Please, come on.
That was awesome.
Thank you. I'm very good at what I do, which is talking and nothing else. Today, which was last Thursday in Borderlands 3, they kicked off the anniversary celebration of Loot Monster Mayhem, which it seems that all of you are enjoying. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance yet, but maybe to drown my sorrows of not being able to see my wife for an indeterminate amount of time again, I will probably get into killing a whole bunch of little loot tinks so that they give me things that I want out of a backpack. That'll be tomorrow night, but that ends on Thursday. So just keep that in mind. On Thursday, it will change, and it will change to a very wonderful event that some of us will call Show Me the Iridium. But for now, enjoy Loot Monster Mayhem, kill all the things, get all the backpacks. And I wanted to use this as a point to segue into the next event, which is Show Me the Iridium. They have introduced several new syncs. So I want to pose this to everybody, and Tweety, we'll start with you because you're on the right, and I'm reading right to left today because apparently I just can do that now. What are you looking forward to spending your Iridium on the most? Because you have options now.
I've bought all the Iridium like customization things of the Earl that provides on all the characters. So I've been using the guns during my challenge runs, the gun with the legendary the legendary mode thing.
Yes.
And it's been fun kind of just seeing what guns pop out, the ones that I'm not really intending on farming, but pop up and I'm like, oh, I might as well use that instead of like what I was doing. Cause I'm like, I wasn't really going for it. I wasn't going to go out of my way, but it's here now. I might as well just try it. So it's been interesting just like getting weapons and some that are not part of my challenge run I'll keep for later in other playthroughs and stuff too.
Do you think that once you go out and farm this, you're going to just continue churning that Iridium out through the Iridium Fabricator for now? Like that's your main focus of where you want to spend everything?
Probably, because it's either right now it's you can go and you can use that gun, or you can let it sit or do like lottery. Besides that, I don't know of another spot where you can really spend it as much, but I just have been using the gun pretty much.
That could be a fun stream. Where if you spend, let's say you told chat you were going to stream for 6 hours. You spend 5.5 of those hours just farming up all the Iridium. And in the last half hour of that stream, all you did was use all of it by using the Iridium Fabricator's legendary mode and just fired out legendaries just to see what you got.
I was thinking of starting a playthrough just with the gun because does it have a level cap on it? I don't know if it does because it's not sure. But I would have it where every level I level up, I get one shot at the gun, and whatever that is, I get to use those guns at that time, and then I have to pew out more guns the next level.
I like that. That's a clever challenge where you just have to use whatever the gun gives you.
Yeah, I gotta use what I gotta use.
Depriesticles, which I almost want to start calling you DP, but I'm not sure how we feel about that.
Go for it.
What would you like to spend your Iridium most on? What are you most looking forward to dropping the purple bars on?
I haven't gotten all my customizations yet. So going to Earl and just taking, one of each character and getting all of those customizations just to have them unlocked, I think I'm most looking forward to that. And then obviously, honestly, I haven't even tried out the new gun mode. I haven't tried out the legendary mode at all.
Oh, it's great.
I'm kind of excited to just fire that thing out for some indeterminate amount of time and just see what kind of neat things drop out of the end of that.
Nice. Very nice.
You should, on your first playthrough through, even starting a fresh character, I did this the other week, we were talking about it, you should have enough Iridium by the time you get to Typhon de Leon, when he gives you the Iridium Fabricator, that you should be able to use the legendary mode at least once. So if you just save all of your stuff, more likely than not, you'll have at least 250 and just pop it out and see what happens. Throw the try.
More.
Yeah. You might have 500 if you do lots of side quests and other things like that. Yeah, you probably could rack it up real heavy.
Or if you farm a boss, right? If you're going behind on levels and you're farming a boss, you're getting Iridium every kill.
Yeah, I don't
know. There you go. Yeah.
I don't know if I would do it that way though. I mean, I could see people farming a boss to do that, but my usual detour is a DLC. I think it's much better and easier on the psyche for you to go through a story and level up that way. Maybe that's my programming from years of playing video games where it was always do story quests. That's how you get levels. The only exception was EverQuest, where it was just go out into the world, kill beetles, and you level up. Good luck. There's no point to this. Have fun.
So like for my one life, for example, I haven't done any side quests. So if I'm falling behind on levels, the next boss, I farm for a bit just to catch up.
That makes sense.
That's really smart to do with one lives, honestly.
Yeah.
I have a hard time not doing side quests. It's difficult. It's very difficult. I see an exclamation mark and I'm like, must pick up and do side quests. I always have this fear though that if I do pick it up, it'll like sidetrack me and I won't be able to get back to the main story, which doesn't make any sense because it's built in such a way that of course you can. So I don't know. It's very strange in my brain. I like side quests.
That's a good fear though. That happens in games like Fable. Fable's a good example of this. There are some side quests in Fable that either you're too small because your renown isn't high enough that you can't do it yet, or once you've progressed to a certain point in the story, those side quests immediately get shaved off and you can never do them again. I get that fear. That makes perfect sense to me.
All right.
Why? I can relate. Like I
appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, the only problem is in Borderlands, there's just so many side quests, and that side quest can be as simple as, hey, go here, kill that guy, they're a dick. Or it can be as complex as, hey, do you want to go on this grand adventure where you learn to slash?
They're all really good though. Like
We
most of
slash.
them have really good loot at the end and really good story elements. Like all of the ones in the main story that have to do with Handsome Jack and Angel and all of that, those were really, really impactful. And all of the little ones in the second DLC with like the citizens that need help dealing with whatever weird curse they've been afflicted with. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're interesting. And yeah, I love the Borderlands side quests. They're a good time. They're a good time.
Wolf, we didn't hear from you. What are you looking forward to spending purple bars on?
Well, this is gonna be a fun one because I know my community is around and they know what's going on. So the save file that I originally started my Moes with somehow got bugged. I got over 1 billion iridium on all my Moses.
Whoa.
Charlie, what now? Excuse me?
I have over 1 billion iridium on my Moses.
Why?
I don't know what happened.
It's a bug.
I don't.
He's a feature, not a bug.
Featured out a bug.
Here's another feature that I got. I don't know how it happened during one of the updates when they did Guardian ranks. All of a sudden, I got 15% weapon damage. I didn't put any points in it.
Wow.
So actually right now, so when it comes to the iridium in the gun, I find personally, I have ethics, I guess. I don't want to use it because it feels like I'm cheating a little bit. However, the gun does still spit out. I can get M10 quest item, like the rewards from quests. And I wouldn't mind actually grabbing some of those, trying them out, seeing if I can come up with a new idea on a new build that utilizes maybe a blue shield or a blue gun or a grenade or something like that to make it unique. Because then people can be like, oh my God, how did you think of that? Because it's available.
That's cool. That's a cool idea too.
Oh.
I like it.
The mind of a builder right there.
Yeah, that's not me.
It never ends.
Yeah.
Wolf the builder.
I
Sorry, that's all I
really,
can think of.
I love the builds that people come up with. I just I don't know. I mean, I kind of know where to start trying to put one together, but I feel like there's so much in the game. It's just kind of overwhelming to try to figure out a build for yourself, even though we all obviously make builds just playing through the game. But like the things that Wolf and some of the other amazing UVH guys have come up with blow your mind. It's just totally crazy. Totally crazy.
The way I promote it is we try to make the characters that we specialize in play differently so that everybody out there can enjoy the character the same way that we do.
It's a really good way to put it because like no character, especially right now with the game being so well balanced, no character puts you in a box. Like you don't have to choose Moes because you just want to shoot things. Like you don't have to choose Amara if you want to have like a punchy character or something like that. You don't have to choose Flack if you want to use snipers, even though he's awesome at it. So of course, why not? But you don't have to play him that way, and you don't have to like play him if you want to use snipers. You could play snipers with Moes. You could do whatever. There's so much variety that's in the game that's currently viable, and that's so nice. It's really nice. I love that you guys showcase that.
True. There's so many different ways to play, and that's why I think having this team means so much to us and the community, because very few people on the team have similar play styles. I think we were talking in the pre-show about, just generally what everybody was doing. Depriesticles, for example, you were talking about how you like doing your challenge runs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
And I'd never heard of that before. I don't know why I hadn't heard of that before, because it's brilliant. But do you want to share a little bit more about what that exactly entails?
Well, I never really considered myself to be a challenge runner until somewhat recently. There's some people that might be here that may have heard of the One Life tournament that took place a while back. And I was invited to participate in that, and throughout the duration of that, and like practicing and trying to figure out routing, because that was like more like One Life speed running almost. It really latched onto me, and I thought, well, what other types of challenges can I put myself through? I did some other One Lives, and I did some allegiance runs, like I said before, and stuff. But it's all about, for me, how much of a challenge can I make the game and still make it through to the end of it, and I feel like it breathes a little bit of fresh life. Playing through the story over and over and over again, it can get pretty tedious. It can get kind of boring after a while, just doing the same old stuff or playing with the same builds, in my opinion. So what can I do to make it interesting and fun again? And like I said, fresh life. Every time I start a new challenge run, I'm like, okay, you have to shift your mindset a little bit. If you're doing a One Life, you have to start speccing into looking at your skill trees and seeing where can you go that's going to give you health regeneration or higher shields or whatnot. If you're doing an allegiance run, what's going to benefit, Jacobs in, the most in your skill trees and stuff like that. And it's like I said, it's an amazing feeling getting to the end of the game on a challenge run like that.
That's really
and it's
cool.
all self-imposed. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. My chat, at least my community, really, I feel like they love it. I've been starting to let them pick. We'll narrow it down to 4 or 5 different types of challenges, and then we'll put a poll in chat and like, what do you guys want to see? And like I said, most recently, white rarity only, One Life.
That's super appealing. I've done stuff like that before, especially with letting chat choose my adventure for charities, but never for just like regular gameplay. And that just sounds really appealing. It sounds
a lot of
potentially impossible to succeed, because I feel like One Life runs especially require you to focus so much on the game. And if you're super interactive, unless you're just really, really good at the game, which a lot of you guys are. But like for me, I tend to just be like things and shinies and whatever. And oops, I fell off the edge of the world.
The chat actually got me one time. They had me start a One Life Mo's a while back, and I have all the EchoCast extension stuff on, and they dropped a pinata for me. And I forgot the pinata, and they were typing in chat and everything. They're like, "You forgot the pinata." And I'm like, "Oh crap! Let's go back and get the pinata." And on my way back to the pinata, I was like level 4. It was like right at the beginning of the game, And I looked at my chat and I said, "Did you guys give me a Torg pinata?"
Oh no!
And then I went and broke it, and kind of immediately forgot that I had just said that. And they did in fact drop a Torg pinata, and the bomb killed me at level 4. Like 40 minutes into a One Life, my chat trolled me and killed me.
My One Life right now, every time I see pinata, I run the other way when it blows up.
Dude, seriously, I've gotten in the habit of backing up every time.
Oh my god, that sounds both terrible and glorious all at the same time.
It was hilarious. It was actually super hilarious. They got me.
Yeah, I use challenge runs as a way to use stuff that I don't normally use or tend to like far away from. Like Flak, I haven't played in forever, and that's why I did a Flak playthrough, and I haven't been using a lot of snipers, so I'm like, let's put snipers. Next, we'll maybe be doing a whole bunch of COV stuff, because I don't really tend to use those a lot. It's mostly forcing me to try different stuff, but it usually goes really well. I just tend to lock into a certain mindset of like, oh, I love this gun. I'm going to use it for everything. There's so many more options that I forget about. So if I force myself to try out these new allegiance or a certain type of weapon, it forces me into trying new things.
Nice. Very nice. I like it.
Yes. Indeed, it is nice to have all of you here and all of your diverse play styles, which is why we actually asked all three of you on. Just like we did last week for Moxie and Triple G, we wanted to talk a little bit more with all three of you today about your general thoughts about the team and how you feel about everything. And of course, I'm going to open it up right again with Tweety. How did you first hear of the Creator Team?
I only first heard of the Creator Team from being on the podcast. Like, I don't know if I think it was the first one or the second one I was on. I can't remember. I think it was the first one. And I never heard of it before then. And that was my first introduction that there may be something coming.
Ooh. Depriesticles, same question to you.
I heard about it, I think, pretty early on. With Damn It to Hell and Jolts and K6 and, the greats that were first initially on what was formerly known as the Stream Team. And I thought to myself immediately, I'm like, wow, that would be super awesome. Imagine just, I was talking to my wife about this. Imagine getting that invite. Imagine being in a position to where you've gotten enough renown in the game that you can get an invite onto the official Borderlands Creator Team. Never thought it would happen to me.
Imagine
Never in a million years. I had dreamt about it. And it's honestly it's such a giant honor. And when I was asked to join the team, I was an emotional roller coaster, and I was just all over the place, over the moon. Such a great honor. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. Content creation is a lot like that. There are a lot of high highs and low lows when it comes to doing what we do. But I guess I'm kind of glad that we could be part of your high highs, if you will, because I'd rather do that than the low lows, because there can be some deep lows. Wolf, what do you got for the people? How'd you find out about it?
Well, I found out about the original Stream Team with Moxie, when he was growing in the ranks of the Borderlands. He's like, I want to be part of the Stream Team. And I'm like, what is this team that he refers to? So did a little bit of research, found who was part of that Stream Team. And when I started my stream, one of my goals was to be part of that team. Now, I mentioned a few times in previous podcasts, the way that I've built my stream is I know where my end goal is or where I'm going with it, and I write down individual tasks or completions or things that I want to complete within that time to get her done. And Stream Team was, so I wrote this list, I'm looking at it right now. I wrote it on June 1st, 2020, and I said from a year now, I'm going to be part of the Stream Team, and lo and behold, it went a little bit quicker.
So the only question is, where do you go from there? Question.
Oh, dude, there's plenty of items that don't have check marks that I still got to work on.
Not yet.
Soon.
Not yet.
So you sort of already answered this, Wolf, but to Tweety and Depriesticles, Depriesticles also sort of already answered this. Did you make it a goal of yours to join right from the start? Like to make sure that you were on the team? Did you do anything special?
I mean, I've been in the Borderlands community for a long time. I came from Tails, which is a complete other direction than anyone else really comes from. I started with Tails. I'm like, ooh, I like the shiny beams. Those are cool. Let's play Borderlands 2. And that's how it all started. And then I was just going through Tiny Tina DLC. I remember it very vividly. And then K6 read it. Who was K6? I had no idea at the time. Zero clue. And then I just was in the Borderlands community. I felt the love that was the entire Borderlands community and stayed for 2 years, pretty much up to the day until Borderlands 3 came out. So I was just, it was of course a goal, and it was nothing I can do specifically to kind of work on it. It was just like building my community, but like making sure my content's good and just feeling the love of the community because it's absolutely crazy. So I just kind of kept playing the game because I love doing that, and the community is a big plus to it as well.
Very cool. Very cool. What does being a member of the Creator Team mean to you guys? And it's a question to all of you. Let's start with Depriesticles. You sort of said a little bit, but expand on it. If you can.
Well, now that I know, now that I'm part of the team and I know a lot more about what it means to be a part of the Creator Team, I really am trying to use my newfound power to be that bridge. You know, us on the creator team, we have direct contacts with 2K and Gearbox and them. And I've posed the question to several different people. What types of things would you guys like to see the community in general happen to the game? Realistically, you know, I've gotten a lot of DMs and a lot of different suggestions from people, and I filter through all of them. And I'm just like, well, that one I'm not going to pass on. But there are a lot of good ideas, and it's just, the community, we're in a very unique spot with Borderlands where the developers of the game actually listen to the community. I feel like that's such a rare thing to find. And having us, the creator team here, as kind of a direct connection between the community and the creators is an incredible thing. It's an incredible opportunity. It's an incredible experience. And that's really what I'm trying to focus on, I suppose, is getting that feedback from the people who stop in with me and passing that feedback onto 2K, and seeing what types of direction that we can steer the game in over the course of time.
There is something to be said for all of us being heard. You know, maybe it's not something we're always being. They make us feel like they're at least taking into consideration everything that we have provided in terms of feedback. Whether or not it actually is acted upon or feasibly can be acted upon, that's a completely different conversation. However, they've never said that's a bad idea, as far as I can tell. And I have seen in my time here, because a lot of you have joined the team since I've been here, so I check when I can, I'll put it that way. But there are lists, pages and 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 pages of feedback from all of the new members on the team. You guys did not waste any time jumping right in and saying, here's what we love, here's what we think needs work, here are some solutions. Solutions, that's what I really like about you guys. You provide solutions and alternative ideas. You're not just going out there and shouting to just like shout into the void. You're saying, we see something wrong. Here's a way that you could potentially fix it. And whether or not they can take us up on that, we don't know. But at least it's out there in our minds, and they feel like the feedback we're giving them is valuable. And that comes from all of you on the team. And that comes from everybody who contributes to our communities as well, because a lot of those ideas do filter up. And that's the way we like it. So, yeah. And you guys do a great job with it.
Agreed, 100%. It's really amazing, I think, as a player of the game, to kind of provide a thought, or like be able to speak your thought, or be able to, like Depriesticles said, bridge like the thoughts of your community to the devs and back to. It's really, really incredible, because like we're fortunate that we get to, you know, sort of have a window into the process a little bit of the game. And we can answer questions, and we can explain things that aren't necessarily obvious about the game. And that's been really cool to sort of be able to talk to the community about that. But definitely there's so many ideas from so many amazing content creators and players out there. And being able to pass those on and seeing those ideas implemented in the game, because a ton of stuff has been implemented, a ton of the suggestions, and seeing that actually come to fruition is so cool. Incredible.
I think we passed over Wolf. What does being a member of the creator team mean to you, bud?
You know, being a programmer, you know, I kind of have a techno background when it comes to stuff. I think helping the community pass along information to 2K and the devs to make this game the best it can possibly be, because let's be honest, I've been playing this game since September. I love this game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. I love this game. And I want this game to thrive. I want it to keep going. That we're not done here. I want this to keep going. So I want to kind of be like Priest said, was kind of be like that middleman, but also translate it into something that maybe, let's be honest, everyone reads Reddit and stuff like that. That's not really constructive criticism. It's a lot of hate. If we can take that information, bring it in, and turn it into something constructive and give it to the developers, then they can read it and go, oh, this makes sense. Or maybe something they didn't realize. And, at least we're kind of that bridge that can really help out. And again, push this game to become even better than it already is today.
You said something fascinating there, and that you mentioned Reddit, and Reddit can sometimes be a little tough to digest. I'll put it that way. But at the same time, wherever I've gone on the internet, a forum, Reddit, other areas of the internet, you can guess where, I've always found that even though they approach the criticisms that they're giving very heavy-handedly, there are a lot of passionate people still there giving feedback. And that feedback, if you could extrapolate all of the curse words and the directed vitriol, you can still find legitimate criticisms in that. And I think that that's another thing that we have a unique opportunity of doing is, you know, we can like take that punch to the face and then be like, wait, that kind of did make sense. It came from a really like ugly spot, but you know, it's not necessarily wrong. Like that's a good idea. It's just, I wish you could have construed that sentence better without it being so antagonistic. And I think the way that I say it is remove emotion from anything. If you can remove emotion from that and you talk about it as a logical standpoint, it's going to come out constructive. The moment you're very passionate and emotional in this, that's when, you know, you can get nasty. Yeah. And I think and we also always have to remember there's human beings at the other end. Talk to them like a human being and they'll listen. Yeah.
And there may be things you don't understand about how things work with the game, with the process, with everything, you know what I mean? And one thing that's really important to note is in terms of all developers out there right now, like everybody's working from home, which seems like it would be easier if you're a developer, but it's not necessarily, because people don't have, like, we as streamers set up our like work from home spaces to be comfortable and like powerful and et cetera, so we can do a lot of things. But like most normal people that go to a place to do their job, their space where they do all of their stuff is at work, right? And they're stuck at home, so they're having to like be at their, you know, kitchen island. Like some like Moxie right now are having to do this while working from home. But you know, God, like
that's right, he is.
Yeah, but like that's not necessarily. I've actually had to do that because I had a like back issue at one point, and it, you know, it's hard to do that because you don't have comforts, you don't have necessarily the right equipment to be able to do all the same things. Like maybe your computer's not as powerful, maybe your computers aren't networked together so you can just like easily send something to another developer to have them like take a look at it. Sending data over the internet can be slow depending on your internet. Like it's just everything is really, really difficult, and more difficult, I think, can be more difficult if you don't have it all kind of prepared and built in to be able to accommodate that. So I just think people need to kind of realize that, and some people do, and it's really cool. But they're like moving mountains, these developers, I feel like, to make things happen that are really incredible for us with this game and with these, you know, the DLCs that have happened and these events that are happening and like just everything. And it's really incredible to sort of know that and to see the results despite everything that's going on in the world.
I think so too. And looking at that, let's think a little bit more about the team in general. I'll start with Wolf. We're gonna go now right to left to right again. Wolf, what do you specifically look forward to accomplishing as part of the team?
I want to bring more diversity. You know, us builders, we do a lot of work and bringing in new things and creating brand new builds and bringing diversity to the game, I believe will actually help people retain and stay in this game, or give them a goal to farm and get the gear that we're going. Like, and again, I think I said it earlier, part of that is also making the game greater.
There it is.
Say that 10 times fast, right?
Oh, thank you.
So that's my end goal is, you know, keep going with what we're doing, make this game even better and more diversity. And I think we're in a really good place. Cool.
Depriesticles, you.
Wolf touched on something there that is brilliant, is the longevity of the game. having, like I said, having us as the bridge between the viewers or the players and the devs, and we can relay those messages. I feel like we can get the game into a spot to where, I mean, it's impossible to make everybody happy, obviously, but the overwhelming majority of people happy, and find that end game replayability and something like that to be able to keep people interested in the game for longer than they might have in other circumstances. If that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. It from a content creator's perspective, that's just, finding new ways to reinvigorate the game long after it had finished being supported. Again, we think back to Borderlands 2. We kept Borderlands 2 fresh for so long with the challenge runs back then, allegiance runs, hide and seek, one life modes, all of that fed into just people coming back day after day, long after that game, for all intents and purposes, based on general content cycles, should have died, but it just refused to because it was that good. And part of it was all of you who took part in watching all the crazy things that we all did. Tweety, to you.
Okay, so with this content creation team, it gives every content creator on the team, although the Borderlands community is very integrated in one another, we all have different communities and different ways we play the game. Like, Wolf is a builder. I don't do that. I do challenge runs. I'm not trying to be the best possible, like kill the bosses as fast as I can, like try to time like Jolts does. Like everyone plays differently. So with each person that gets added to the content creation team, you get different parts of feedback, whether it be the try to make things more diverse for builders and have other people play that way, or the more relaxed players that want to do challenge runs or just want to take their time through the game or do side quests or focus on the DLC. So each creator that gets added brings another part of knowledge to the game because they play it a different way, and their community also tends to be more towards their play style as well. That's why all of our communities are kind of different in our own way. So my side, I want to bring my 2 cents of like, I'm not as hardcore as some people here, but I still enjoy the same game and we all loot and shoot the same way. That's like the base of the game. But although I just want to kind of bring in the people that may not play as hardcore, but just still want to have a bunch of fun with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of more casual players. A lot. And I'm among them with you. Like I sometimes I tend towards the hardcore side, sometimes I tend towards the casual side. But it's a game you can relax with, which is really, really, really nice. And having that voice is really cool.
Tweety, you make it sound so inclusive. Do you think there's room in this community for a scotch drinking hack who sings K-pop and talks like Kermit the Frog? Do you think there's room?
I think there's room.
Okay, maybe there is a chance for me yet.
We each have our own knowledge of the game of how we want to go, and if they can integrate just parts of it, I think people from each type of group and how they play will be happy with it.
Very well said.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Speaking of new voices coming to the team, if there was one content creator in particular you guys would like to shout out that you think would be a good fit on the team, okay, we're listening, and everybody at Gearbox and 2K is listening. So please, your recommendations. One, you only get one though. Tweety.
I'm starting.
Yeah.
One person that's kind of been with me and like we've kind of support each other throughout Borderlands 3 is Darkest Dame. She's absolutely lovely, fantastic. We support each other through it. Like the girls kind of have to stay together. It's not as many girls, but I mean, there's still a lot of them out there. And the more we support each other, the more we kind of can keep going forward and make it more diverse.
She's like the Daria of our community, and I love that show. Yeah, she's amazing.
Very cool. Very cool. I have to check her out. I have like a list of people I need to check out, and it's getting longer, and it's really nice to see that. So I'm working my way through it slowly. Same question, Depriesticles. One, please.
Yeah.
I know it's
Actually,
hard. I know
thought
it's
about this
hard.
really,
It's so hard.
really hard because there are so many amazing content creators out there.
You can tell us more later. I promise.
Yeah. If I was to narrow it down to one, I got to say there's a guy who's stuck with me through since like my Borderlands 2 days. I started streaming with Borderlands 2, and I've been in the Borderlands community ever since. And he's helped me a lot. And a fellow affiliate, as the smallest member on the creator team, it'd be nice to have somebody else maybe along in my side of the ranks, and that is BZK25. He's a phenomenal friend to me. I think he's a great content creator, a fellow challenge runner, and I think he could bring a lot to the table.
Heard the name around a lot. When I return to the lower 48, I fully intend on checking him out. I have a lot of other things that I need to get done in terms of recommendations. I've only had a limited amount of time here because, no offense, everybody, I really want to see my wife. So when I get back, I'm going to make good on a lot of my promises to check people's content out more, and he is definitely on my list. So yeah, that's a really good one. And now we come to Wolf. Wolf, you only get one.
It's so hard.
I was going to say, Mitsu was talking to me, I think, earlier.
Oh, I was giving you the Robert De Niro in Meet the Parents.
So basically, we had a talk. I have two names that I want to say, but I'm only going to pick one. And I think one of the vital, and I think one of the important people that we would need on our team is somebody who can represent the consoles. And the one person that I want to name out there, his name is Hacks Z, and the A is a 4, and it's ZZHD. So what he does actually is part of his stream. So Borderlands has actually helped him through his life in a very hard time of his life. And what he's dedicated his stream to do a lot nowadays is to provide a service to the PlayStation community and be able to give them the meta builds that us builders create. Because farming bosses on consoles and doing all that stuff, loading times that they deal with, crashes that they deal with, he deals with that every single day. So I believe that his voice, part of the content creator team, would be great for us to understand what our console community is having to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
I think it's a great choice.
It's a very good point.
We really don't. You're right. There are very few people who are dedicated to consoles, and it's for no other reason than the honest truth is it's a lot easier for the most part to stream off of a PC. And it's no knock against consoles. I have absolutely no problem what you play on. It's just generally speaking for a content creator, it is easier unless you have a good capture card to just play and work off of either one or two PCs. The results just wind up being a lot easier for you to manage. But to have somebody who's representative of a console would be lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Agreed. Definitely.
No. So, it wasn't this past weekend, but I believe the weekend before, Tweety, you streamed on the Borderlands channel, didn't you?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was a journey. It was kind of fun though, seeing people that I may have not seen in my channel per se, but still have the same interests of Borderlands 3 at heart and talking to those, and it was an experience playing through it and having kind of the extra chat to kind of manage and talk to. It was a good time.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Would Depriesticles and PsychoticWolf, would you guys want to do that, stream on the Borderlands channel at some point?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Cool.
I must have missed that one. I apologize.
Yeah, when was
No,
that?
it's good. It was the day after Tweety.
Oh, awesome.
I did it. It was this Tweety. You were Saturday, I think, and I was Sunday, right after Thick Fillet.
Very cool.
I gotta say that was probably one of the most nerve-wracking experiences that I've had to deal with in a long time. It was amazing. It felt really great. Thick started my stream off with his enormous community raid. So it started off really strong, and I felt really good. And Tweety, you're right. Managing two chats was kind of a hoot.
The time.
That was wild. But
it went smoother than I thought it was going to be. I think we get too nervous of those things, but people still love us anyway, Yeah.
You're you, and you guys are amazing. And I think we're all guilty of this. I still get nervous before every single Bordercast, before every single anything, every time. And it's hard not to be, but the community is honestly so supportive. You guys, like you just mentioned, Thick Fillet, who's another wonderful member of the team, coming in to bring his community, and just everybody is so supportive in the Borderlands directory. Streamers are supportive of other streamers. Viewers are supportive of all the streamers, and it's just amazing to see that and have that be the case. And it's, you know, people love you guys because you're awesome. So it doesn't matter what channel you stream on. Right? So Wolf, you're the only one that hasn't had the opportunity.
I'm the only one that hasn't, and my body temperature is already rising just thinking about it, but I'm also excited to do so.
Cool. Very cool.
The only fun part is I'm like, okay, what am I going to do?
Oh, no.
I do believe it is in everybody's cards at some point to be featured on the channel. And I'm very thankful that this is something that we're doing, because utilizing the channel for that purpose, I don't really think that there are too many other developers or publishers who do it on a consistent basis. They might have occasionally somebody featured once or twice, maybe, and that's it. But this is like a long-term committed effort to bring on people and say, these are the people, we're going to have them on this official channel with all of this official branding and outreach. Here you go. Have fun. And I think it's great.
It
really is very unique. Very, very unique.
I think for me too, the opportunity that I'd like to take is maybe stream on the Borderlands channel on a different time slot that I don't normally stream on, because I'm on the Pacific time zone. So for a lot of my East Coasters, I'm 3 hours ahead of you guys. So technically my 8 o'clock start is 11 p.m. your time. So it's already late at night. So some of you may not be able to experience my content. So maybe, you know, having an earlier time slot, you know, wife permitting, of course, to introduce myself to some new people out there and show them what I got to provide to the community.
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate that Gearbox and 2K are very, very supportive of the streamer community for this game and this franchise. And it's so, honestly, like, being amongst those streamers is an honor for all of us. And it's just, I think we're very lucky because they really, really, really do try so hard to support the streamer community and try to lift people up, and it's really nice. And I'm really glad that you guys are a part of it, and we hope to see more awesome streamers a part of it soon too.
For sure.
We are pressed for time, but I did want to talk very, very briefly, just for a couple minutes, about something we talked about last week, which was Guardian Takedown, because we had two perspectives. They were somewhat similar, but not quite the same, between Thick and Moxie. But now we have Wolf, Depriesticles, and Tweety here, and I'm wondering what everybody feels about, just in general, Guardian Takedown right now. And I'll actually start with you, Depriesticles. What do you think? How do you feel about Guardian Takedown right now? And then, in a bit of a brief summary, what do you think we can do to enhance the Guardian Takedown specifically experience?
The Guardian Takedown, I feel like, is one of the best pieces of content in the game. And
wow, it's a rousing endorsement.
It's the difficulty level, the end game content. The loot is, in my opinion, kind of lacking, but as far as, from my perspective as a challenge runner, I'm looking for that challenge, and I feel like the Guardian Takedown is a healthy challenge. I would like to see it maybe even more challenging on M10. You have a large scale that you can adjust your difficulty between all of these mayhem modes and modifiers and stuff, and I think even on M10, I don't lose very often, you know, not trying to brag or anything, but I would like to, I would like to have even more of a challenge, you know, something that I really, really have to sweat and push for. And if I die multiple times through it, by the time that I reach the end of it, it's even more rewarding when you finish it. Like I said, though, the loot does leave something to be, you know, it's lacking, in my opinion. I think it's damage and specifically for the Guardian Takedown, the damage output of the weapons that drop, or almost everything in there with the exception of just a couple of things, should probably be brought up. It is end game content, and I think it should drop things equivalent to end game gear.
I think it's a fair assessment. I think it's absolutely fair. Yeah. Tweety, what about you?
I think the Guardian Takedown, I think, is really nice. And I see more of the Guardian Takedown as a way to end challenge runs than I do to kind of just complete it for loot. The loot, it's the way I think about it is you have you spend 20 minutes on a Guardian takedown, maybe if you go fast-ish. I think that's about the time.
Well, you gotta go fast.
Yeah, you gotta go super fast. So you spend 20 minutes trying to go through it. I think the content in the actual takedown is amazing. There still could be a few changes, like more spawn points for the jumping part, and some ammo parts too. But for the time you spend trying to get to the end and killing the boss and the mini boss, the loot there is not up to par of what the time you spend. While now they've lessened the pool, like they've grown the pools to many different enemies, and you can get a good gun like a Monarch or a Flipper or Light Show in less than like 5 minutes, and it is 10 times better than the loot you get during the Guardian takedown. So either the loot needs to be brought up, well, I think pretty much the loot needs to be brought up, and because for the time you put into it, you're not getting the loot back. But I like the content itself, and I think it also needs to be more difficult because it is endgame content. And I personally think it's still, even with a basic build of knowing what you're doing, you can still beat it quite easily.
I wish we had a counter. We now have two people on the panel who say it is not difficult enough and they want more. That makes me happy.
I don't know if I agree with that, but maybe it's just because I'm not that OP.
But we help you. We get you to OP, and then you smash, and then you go.
But you don't have to do it at Mayhem 10 too. So
That's true.
like if it's Mayhem 10,
but
take down.
you do. Well, okay. So I feel like if the difficulty was to increase, I personally would not feel good about that unless there was some kind of mechanic that allowed you to respawn without having to wait for your friends that you're playing with to kill a boss, like for like 20 minutes just sitting there. Because what happens is a lot of people, like even if you're playing off stream, like if you're streaming, the reality is you have to either back out or you just have to sit there and talk to chat, but it's very demoralizing and it's bad for viewership, and it's just not great at all to sit there for 20 minutes waiting when you've died. Whether you've died because it's too hard or you've died because you fell off an edge or something, it doesn't matter. The reality is sitting there for 20 minutes when you've died sucks on stream.
100% agree.
Yeah.
100%.
It's
Big
super
time.
bad. And the reality is when people are playing off stream, just like the regular community playing, they'll leave the match. Like they'll use matchmaking to get in and they'll leave the match. And then the other person is left with 2-player difficulty and they'll probably end up leaving, or they might complete it, but like it feels bad, man. And so I feel like making it harder without addressing that would, at least to me personally, feel like a step back. I feel like if they were going to make it harder, I would love personally to see a respawn timer. Like checkpoints, would be nice, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Who knows? But I think a respawn timer and maybe having it cost Iridium. So like, when you respawn, normally it costs you money, right? So I don't know if this is like technically possible. I've just come up with crazy ideas. But I would love to see a timer for respawn that's like you can even make it long, make it 1.5 minutes, make it 2 minutes, make it 3 minutes, whatever it is, so that your partners are fighting without you and trying to survive without your help for a significantly painful amount of time, but not so painful that your community starts dwindling because they're like, we don't really want to watch you not play, or people just leave the match. Make it like 2 minutes and then make it cost Iridium, because then that gives you another really effective, in my opinion, Iridium sync. I think that would be really cool.
I think we do need more things to spend Iridium on. And the countdown timer for something like that. You talked about that last week, and I thought that was a brilliant idea. That's a phenomenal idea on both of those counts. I really like that a lot.
Since we have like so many people that are going like difficult, and what if we had we have already the scaled mode, but what if there was another mode that could bring it to the other level, that the hardcore or like the people that have the builds down and want even more loot? What if there's like a secondary mode? Maybe it wouldn't have, like, for the mode we have now, when there's like nothing changed, it could still have you could add the respawns, you could add more of the the quality of life stuff, but if we had another mode that then would boost even the loot even more and had no respawns and made it more difficult, but had the loot rewards be upped even more than they are now, I feel that could have a both equal time of solving the problem of people that still want it to be kind of a more friendly for everybody, and then the people that want to go even harder into the Guardian takedown and use it as a way more difficult part of end game content.
So you have normal scaling mode.
Yeah, because you
True
like you
takedown
four
mode.
players, like
Right.
you can't get any more difficult than that right now.
Yeah. So normal, true takedown mode. So that means ultimate takedown mode
Yeah,
is the
something
next
like that.
iteration.
Yeah.
There it is.
Can I propose one?
Sure.
Psychotic.
Absolutely. That's good. Actually. There it is. I knew it was
Yeah,
coming.
just a way to kind of balance, since there's people on both sides of the fence of like more difficult or easier quality of life. You could have more quality of life to the content we have now, but then add a secondary layer of even way more difficult content.
Yeah, I think there should be a difficulty slider, like a health and armor
that too.
slider, or how much damage they do to you slider. Again, all of this stuff is like, it would be really cool. Is it actually technically possible? I have no idea. But it would be really cool if there was like, I do think the respawn thing should go everywhere. Like, I would be really sad if there was a difficulty slider mode, but it didn't have the like pay for respawn or respawn timer or whatever thing, because then I could never do it. And I'd be really sad. Because it really is like, especially streaming, if you're like, I just do the takedowns solo. That's the only way I do the takedowns most of the time, because what happens when I play with others is I get distracted by a cat or chat, either or, and then I die. And
Anything that rhymes with either.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I would love to run through a whole bunch of takedowns like with you guys. Like I would love to see how fast we could get it down. I would love to like, just play with the community more. And I feel like that's only going to happen. And people are only going to not drop out when they're playing off stream or off, just like amongst themselves. I think that's only going to happen if there is some kind of respawn thing that gets implemented. And if that happens, I would love to see that end up in that greater difficulty mode. Because, I mean, you could also just not do it, right? Like if you want the pain of dying and you want to not spend iridium or whatever, like you don't have to do it. So it gives people the choice to play the higher difficulty, and especially if there's like a slider for how much health and armor and all that stuff that the enemies have and how much damage they do to you. Because right now, I don't know if this was fixed recently, where the Mayhem 10 enemies are doing some extra damage to you. I'm not sure.
I don't believe that hasn't been addressed yet.
I don't think that's
going.
been addressed yet. Yeah.
I feel like that's probably going to be a big boy patch kind of
Yeah,
situation.
probably, because that seems like a complicated thing. Some people like it. I'm surprised that I'm not struggling with it as much, to be honest. I guess the builds that I'm playing are just very OP. So Ultimate Vault Hunter, Thursday, 4 p.m. But seriously, I just feel like it's kind of nice to have them do greater damage to you to a point, as opposed to them being more bullet spongy. Also, an option to have more enemies. Like I personally, I don't think that I would love for it to take much longer to kill things. And when you give them much more shields and much more armor, they just become very bullet spongy. So like when the takedown, before they nerfed it and made the health and armor reasonable, I didn't like it as much because you just sit there like shooting one thing for so long. For me, it's more fun to like pop a guy and then turn around and run that way and pop another guy and, move and like shoot and kill multiple things, and like hearing that explosion when they die a lot of the time. If you have a flipper, that's really awesome, and their explosions, it's really satisfying. So like it'd be really cool if there was an option for like more enemies. This would be really hard on consoles though, so I don't know if that's realistic, but it would be really cool if there were more enemies as opposed to just harder enemies that
more
are
options
spongier.
are always a good thing.
Yeah.
For how diverse the game could be and how many different play styles, more options are always better. You don't always have to use them, just something that's optional.
Maybe this is a thing for Borderlands 4 someday. Who knows?
I think specifically with like the more enemies thing, Some of our builds out there, I'm thinking specifically with Amara and Ties That Bind, having more enemies is not going to make it any more difficult. You could just phase grasp in just larger groups and take out more enemies at once, as opposed to having a harder time taking them out.
What if there was a limit on how many enemies Ties That Bind can grab?
Yeah, but then I'm going to come back to you with Slam Cannon, because now the more enemies I kill, the bigger my shields, the bigger my amp shot. So sure.
Some of the options, we go back to the options slider thing. I think that's probably the best middle ground here.
So I'll give my 2 cents quickly. All the suggestions through the playthrough of the Guardian Takedown, I hear them and I understand them, and I'm happy that everybody's giving out those options, because it gives Gearbox different options on how to possibly approach this, either with this takedown or a later takedown. The one thing that I really want to focus on is the gear drops. There, in my mind, out of all the meta builds that have been created since the Guardian Takedown, there is one, and that's the melee builds using the Stinger Shield. All the other items inside the takedown have not been used in a meta build. If you take Malawan Takedown, for example, you had redistributors were huge for Zane. You had Tiggs Booms, which, I have a Meteor Mose build. You had, what is the other one? The Kibsworth. The Kibsworth was huge on Mose because it was an amazing splash weapon and stuff like that. My Frozen Snowshoe for Slam Cannon came out of the Malawan Takedown. Like, there's so many items that brought different builds, different diversity to the game, that I feel that the biggest disappointment is I don't have new toys to play with in the Guardian Takedown that would actually be worthwhile in endgame.
You don't even have the, I don't know if it's 100% drop, like, are you gonna get something that's in the pool? Because I know that was a big problem. That's because it's like, you don't even, like, you can go through all that effort and you won't even get something that's even in the loot pile. You can get something that just all world drops.
I think it took me 7 runs before I got my first smog.
Yeah, that's not even counting annoyance and the element. There's just it's just way too much variety to try to, like, make it worth the while.
Yeah, the loot being better would definitely be a big change, a good change.
It'd bring more replayability, because if you look at Malawan, even to today, when we get level cap increases, people want those weapons and those shields back with the new scaled level. Like, so that's why Malawan right now is a lot of people really enjoy doing Malawan, because A, well, they're doing it much faster now, but B, because there's a satisfaction of getting upgrades.
Yeah, that's a
3 more skill points, and a few more levels. It could really change everything. So we'll have to see how it plays out as the game continues to go on. We are very, very over time, but that is okay. So let us begin the process of surmising everything that we have discussed. Bounty Blood, it's out. We didn't really talk about it, but you should still know, because it's a really great DLC and everyone should play it. Guardian Takedown, we just talked about it. You can see some of the high highs and low lows of that. I guarantee you're going to enjoy it. Go out there and challenge yourself. It's waiting. Borderlands Legendary Collection, again, I'm going to enjoy it quite a lot tomorrow. Next week. All right, here we go. Next week, and I cannot emphasize this enough, and this is your reward for having stayed this entire time. We are going to have a jam-packed show. It will be the crossover event that everybody's been waiting for. It will be the Bordercast, myself and Tess, with Greg Miller and Fran Mirabella III of the Borderlands show. The 2 shows are becoming one. 1 week only, next week. Plus a very, very special interview. This is the kind of thing where you probably want to tell everybody, like, go tell Reddit and go tell all those places. It's a big deal. I ain't going to say anything else about it, but you want to make sure everybody's here next week. Between who we have as the guests and who we have for our interview, it's going to be a great show. That I can promise you.
It's going to be amazing.
Yes, it is. Oh, all right. Depriesticles, as our first newest guest, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitch, on twitch.tv/Depriesticles. I'm starting to get into YouTube. You can find me on there, or just Depriesticles anywhere. I have all the social medias. If you look up Depriesticles, it's not a very common name, so I think I've got it nailed down on just about anything.
It's a very good move. You got that uniformality across everything.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's hard. It's hard to find a unique name. Tweety, I believe, also is TweetyExpert everywhere.
Everywhere, yep. I stream on Twitch. I have a YouTube. I have a Twitter. It's just Tweety and then Expert. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, Sundays.
Very cool. And the wonderful Psychotic Wolf, who is only not Psychotic Wolf on Twitter. He's P_Wolf82. Darn it, Twitter.
Wolf was taken. Yeah. So you can find me on Twitch. I stream Sundays through Thursdays, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to midnight my time. So if you're on the East Coast, sorry for your luck. And yeah, you can find me on YouTube. But the best way to find it is come to my stream, type !YouTube, because I don't have a custom link. So it's easier. The easiest way is that way.
Very, very cool.
Tess, what about you? Where can they find you?
Tessichka on Twitch. It's just Tessa, CHKA. The Russian version of my name. Tessichka on Twitch and YouTube, it's Tessichka Games. My YouTube is currently very, very quiet, but things are coming. Tess Games on Instagram and Twitter. And Mitsu.
Of course, as always, it's me, twitch.tv/Mitsu, twitter.com/MITSUSHOW, Mitsu Show, MITSUSHOW.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Seriously, every single one of you watching in the chats on Facebook, on YouTube, on Steam, on Twitch. Thank you so much for watching. To our listeners, thank you so much for listening on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Google Music, and Stitcher. Thank you, you guys. You can definitely check out all the streamers. All their information is going to be posted in the description of the podcast episode. Make sure you check them all out and go say hi. And we are here every Tuesday, including next Tuesday, a very special Tuesday, at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, I cannot emphasize this enough. You're going to want to be here next week. And with that, on behalf of Tess, myself, the entire content creation team, thank you so much for joining us every single week, as you always do. You get to see me mess up every now and again. Just go forth and make some mayhem.